Hi everybody! Today we're going to be making pancakes and crepes and talking about the difference between the two different batters. So as you can see here in front of me, I've already mixed up my pancake batter and my crepe batter. And the crepe batter is much more of a liquid than the pancake batter. Part of that is because it has almost twice as much liquid in it as the pancake batter. The other difference between the two is that the pancakes have baking powder in them and the crepes do not. So we're going to explore how that changes your final product today. So first we'll start by making our crepe. Just going to scoop some batter right onto my crepe maker. Spread it evenly, or as evenly as you can. Because these are so thin, they're going to cook pretty quickly, but you still need to wait until there are bubbles that start popping on the top, and that's when you can flip it. So I'm going to use this long baker's spatula to just kind of go along the edges, make sure it doesn't stick, and to flip it when it comes time. While that's cooking, we're going to get started on our pancakes. So I'm going to take a scoop of my pancake batter and start cooking that. And just like with your crepes, you want to wait until bubbles start forming on the top of the pancake before you flip it. So it looks like our crepe is just about ready to be flipped. So we're going to go around the edge here to make sure that it doesn't get stuck. And we're just going to flip it. And that second side will cook much faster. So you just kind of want to let it brown on that side. And then your crepe is finished. And there we go. We have a beautiful crepe. Now that we have bubbles popping on the top of our pancake, we're going to flip it. Now that we have both our crepe and our pancake cooked, we're going to talk about the chemistry. Let's talk about the chemistry of pancakes and crepes. Pancakes and crepes both have flour, sugar, salt, eggs, and milk. And pancakes usually have vanilla, oil, and the most important difference between the two is baking powder. Pancakes have baking powder and crepes do not. Baking powder is a mixture between baking soda and an acid. In most baking powders, the acids are monocalcium phosphate, which reacts immediately upon mixing, and sodium aluminum sulfate, which is heat activated and reacts once you start cooking. This is a chemical reaction that happens when you add baking powder to foods. You have a baking soda and an acid, like I mentioned before, and it releases carbon dioxide gas, which is what causes the pancake or anything else you're cooking to become light and fluffy and puff up. Okay, so the perfect topping for our pancakes is maple syrup. So we're going to make some homemade maple syrup right now. So what I have started is 1 cup of water, 1 cup of white sugar, and 1 cup of brown sugar. And we're just going to bring that to a boil, and when it boils, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter and half of a teaspoon of our mapeline, which is our maple flavoring. Okay, so our sugar and water mixture is boiling now, so we're going to reduce the heat and stir in our butter and our maple flavoring. We're just going to let that butter melt and that flavoring go in. and then we'll have maple syrup for our pancakes. Now let's talk about the chemistry behind making syrup. Sucrose is the sugar that makes up table sugar, and sucrose is made up of glucose and fructose. When we made our maple syrup, we had to stir it while it was cooking. Stirring a sugar solution, like syrup, creates smaller crystals. As soon as you stop stirring, the crystal formation halts and any crystals you have made start to grow in size, which makes your final product grainy instead of nice and smooth. Okay, so now we're going to make a filling for our crepe. So for our crepe, we're going to do some honey butter. So we're starting out with butter that's been softened, and we're going to cream that for about 2 minutes. Okay, so once you've creamed your butter, you're going to add 1 egg yolk, some vanilla, and a little bit of salt, and mix that in. Next, you're going to drizzle in 1 cup of honey while you're mixing. Now you're going to let this set in the fridge for a little bit, and then you can use it to fill your crepes. And now let's talk about the chemistry of why honey butter works. Honey butter is made up of butter, which is a nonpolar lipid, and honey, which contains sugars and water, which makes it polar. Normally these two molecules would not combine. However, with the help of a molecule like lecithin, which is found in the egg yolk that we added to our honey butter, the nonpolar lipid and the polar molecules in the honey are able to combine to form a smooth honey butter. And now you're all finished. You have your pancakes and maple syrup and a crepe with some delicious honey butter. Enjoy!